I'm Andrew Spurlock, a chemical dependency counselor's assistant. I've been working in the field for 2 years. Today I'd like to talk about the stages of change and the actions of families that they can take when the clients are in different stages of change. Stages of change is a term that we use in the field for clients on where they are in the process of recovery. Sometimes that they're in early on and sometimes they're in later on. First, let's talk about what causes someone to change. There's really two reasons that people primarily change. Either they change because their life that they're in is so uncomfortable from whatever cause that they have to change in order to make it better. Another cause is that the life that they could have would be so great that not changing would make no sense. And so we go through the stages of change in each of the areas to consider where they're going to change and how possibly you could react to them. First of all, there's pre-contemplation. In pre-contemplation, they're thinking about changing, but they haven't really decided to yet. They really think there's nothing wrong with their addiction. In fact, usually if you try to tell them there's something wrong with their addiction, they will lash out at you and say, it's just your fault, there's nothing wrong, it's my body, a lot of random excuses like that try to keep you away, because at that time, nothing wrong with their addiction in their mind. So they go through and think about that. If the family's reaction at that point is just to openly communicate with them. Tell them how their addiction, their use, makes them feel and stuff like that. You also have to make sure you send up special boundaries and stuff like that, because addicts will slowly do more and more to get their drugs or their alcohol. They'll steal from you, they'll steal from family members other than you, their friends. They'll sell stuff off just so they can get their next high. Addiction is very selfish like that. So you have to make sure to set up boundaries to protect yourself. Say, if you're going to steal from me, if you're going to continue using in my house, then I'm going to take away this privilege, that privilege, or you're not even going to be here. That's just like, almost like you're treating a child sometimes, but addiction, unfortunately, makes them childlike at sometimes. You also have to be able to try to understand them and understand why their addiction got their way that was. Could be the information be able to help you as well. And then the next stage is contemplation. They're thinking about change. They're not sure yet. They probably don't like the idea of change. Maybe they've stopped once or twice on their own for a day or two, but they got really feeling bad. They see where their life is going. They don't like it, but they're not quite ready to stop yet. They're just looking into the possibility of stopping. During this stage, you really have to support them in this stage. They're thinking about change, and they know there's resources out there. Help them find those resources. If they need to be able to give some money and stuff like that to get into a rehab, go ahead and invest in that. Help them to understand and help them to help you understand where their addiction's coming from. Next is the action phase. They're thinking in the action phase, they're actually making a change. Probably already in a program somewhere. They're trying their hardest to get through. But at the first bit of the action stage, it's very uncomfortable. They will be hurting and going through whatever withdrawal symptoms off of the drug that they're using most popularly. It's not comfortable to see. They might even want to stop recovery and go back to use. It's very common in the action stage to either go back to use because of the discomfort or because they think they have it under control and they go out and find out, no, they don't. So at this stage, make sure you're talking to them. Make sure you're taking part in their recovery. If they have visitations in their program, visit them. If they have classes like Al-Anon, go to their classes and get to understand recovery better. Because one of the main complaints that some of the gentlemen I've worked with is that their family members really don't understand what addiction does to the body. that it changes them mentally, physically, and that they can't just choose to stop. At that point, their body is addicted to it chemically. If you've ever tried to stop using caffeine when you drink a lot of coffee or Coca-Cola for a few weeks, you'll understand that sometimes you get side effects. If you're a smoker, you get it even quicker. You might even not be able to go without a day without starting to develop the shakes. It's not an easy process for anybody. After that, the maintenance phase. Maintenance phase, they are in recovery. They've probably got at least a month, but hopefully more than that. They're feeling like they're clean. They're working their program. They're doing really good, but at the same time, that's when addiction can once again kick back. They think they have it underhand. Maybe they'll stop going to meetings because they think, I have this. It's under control now. And that they'll come back and get it. So you need to watch out for old actions that they used to do when they were using. If stuff starts going up missing, just watch them a little closely. If they start seeming like they're drunk or high, talk to them about it. Find out what the truth is and hold them accountable for whatever choice they make. Could be that they slipped up once and they're not sure what to do. A slip is not necessarily a fall. They can go back to addiction if they're not supported. Or they can trip up once and renew their recovery. It sets them back a little bit, not all the way. They do still have to go through the relapse phase or recovery phase again, where they're going through that first week, which nobody likes to see. You also have to make sure that you're following through, talking, and filling their life with positive things. If they don't fill in the events of their life, then they will fill the gap with something else. Sometimes it's another drug, sometimes it's bad friends, sometimes bad relationships. They're trying to rebuild what they have, and whatever they have to rebuild it with sometimes is not good. So you have to watch out for that.